Look who we got tonight. We are number 2 of number 3. Yeah, you, baby. We are number 2 of number 3 on the interviews for Stirring the Pot tonight. It is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, G.K. Durant. What's up, my man?
Not much, brother. How about yourself, Don?
We're hanging out. We're dodging the King. No, never mind. We're dodging the King. Yeah. We try to lighten it up. I know it's serious, but first off, you, the fam, all of that good stuff. You're good through this whole mess.
Oh yeah, just I live alone. My uncle lives across town. He's fine. My dad's in Florida. He's good too.
All right, cool. Yeah, because it's everywhere. It's not just in our neck of the woods. I'd like to start off. Sweet shirt, my man.
Thank you very much. I think we all know, besides from wrestling, I do love my heavy metal.
Now, I should have probably thrown on like an AC/DC or something for the occasion. I don't know what I was thinking. I threw on some Deadpool. I thought that was
I'm a Marvel guy too, man. Gotta love Deadpool.
So what we do, now for the boys and girls that don't know who Mr. G.K. Durant is, we like to introduce them. For the ones that do know, we like to get them to know you a little bit more. Now, for the ones that don't know you, G.K. Durant is a ring announcer, very awesome presence, looks beautiful every time, has that beard looking slick, carries his voice very well, very eloquently, and I enjoy when I get to see GK on the shows. So this Stirring the Pot, it's not just about wrestlers. It's about the referees. It's about the ring announcers. We just celebrated Zebra Week. That was fun.
Nice.
So
they cred.
Yeah, I had Bill Thompson on. I was a little drunk on some moonshine. Yeah, that was fun. But anywho, what we like to do is peel it back a little bit, get to know one GK Durant. What I like to do, because I started seeing you, let's see, I have to remember because I've seen you maybe a couple handful of times, and I'm going to have to say NAW. Is that correct or no?
Probably.
We got to see each other frequently in that specific promotion. And again, carry yourself very eloquently. And they do some shows in big gymnasiums. So when GK Durant speaks, you can hear him for a while.
I got a loud mouth. So.
Now, what made GK Durant want to become a ring announcer?
It actually starts with training to be a wrestler. Back in 2004. Had a full head of hair.
No, you didn't. There ain't no way you had a full head of hair.
One time I did, believe me. And then genetics kicked in. But I actually started to train under Mofo Steve Bradley, who, if you don't know, or if your viewers don't know, he was a WWF at the time developmental talent. Actually helped wrestlers like Victoria and Kurt Angle get ready for the main roster. While I was training under him, his regular ring announcer had left. He did these fantasy camps at his school, had me ring announce for one of the fantasy camp show nights, and I didn't think I'd do a good job, and he wound up really liking how I sounded. And he goes, hey, he's like, Jay's leaving. Jay was the ring announcer at the time. He goes, I need you to fill in tomorrow night at Dover, New Hampshire, which at the time was one of our big towns. And I was like, what? Me? Like, why? And here we are 15 years later.
Wow. Now, that intrigues me very much because you're at the beginning stages, I would imagine, correct, of training?
Yeah, a little bit. I had a small handful of matches. Was thinking about stopping, though, due to repeatedly being dropped on my head. Plus a bad back as well. It was a few months later, I think I decided to stop training and then focused on the ring announcing thing. I've gone on to do other things. I've refereed. I've done a little bit of everything.
Wow. So you wear many hats in the industry.
Yeah. I've been a commissioner. I've, like I said, refereed. I've done a lot of different things.
And this has really got me hanging on the edge of my seat, was GK Durant, and you can whisper it to us, we won't tell nobody, was GK Durant the anonymous general manager back in the day on Raw?
God, no.
Oh, come on. Really?
I hated that gimmick.
So now you're training. Now you've really got me intrigued. You had a gimmick or a character name, or did you have anything going for you at the time? What was it? Please share.
Well, it wasn't my choice. I've worked mostly as a heel, and it was very enjoyable because, who doesn't like to play a bad guy every now and again and, work your ass off to get people to boo you? But, yeah, I was dubbed Dastardly Durant, and I sort of mimicked Arn Anderson of the Four Horsemen. Okay. Very just straight to the point, try to pound and ground my opponents, and did utilize a spine buster a time or two.
Nice. So your go-to would be the mat classic wrestler, if you will, right?
A little bit, yeah. Ground and pound. Big fan of submission holds.
Okay.
Always love submission holds. Actually made up my own back then. At the time, it was a variation of the crossface. Obviously, I can't show you right now, but it was. Those were definitely some of my favorites. I mimicked a lot of guys like Chris Benoit, maybe a little bit of Chris Jericho, a little bit, various wrestlers. Mick Foley too was a big one. Always like to do the cactus clothesline. I did that a time or two. Big ground and pound, submission holds. Those were my favorites.
Nice. Now, as you're training, because I tell you, like Ronnie Ribb said to me, SOG, I weigh like 35 pounds, so I'm not getting in that ring and taking the bumps. I'll tell you that, man. You seem to have a good stature about yourself. The training went okay for you, but you said your back just wasn't hanging in there. That was a big deterrent for continuing.
Yeah, between my back and I, my head too. Looking back, I probably had a handful of concussions that I probably should have addressed and never did. But it is what it is, and I still love the business. Don't get me wrong, and yeah, there's a part of me that does miss that. Hey, music hits, you going down that aisle, getting ready to kick someone's ass. But as long as I'm involved in the business, I am happy. It could be announcing, it could be refereeing. I manage wrestlers. Like you said, many hats. There's been a few. So.
Now, as a referee, it's not always clean and squeaky. You don't always get out of the match not taking a bump. Have you taken bumps as a referee?
As a referee and a manager, yes.
Oh,
actually, and as an announcer, now that I think about it.
Wait a minute. You've taken a bump as an announcer? Please take us on that journey.
Yeah, way back in the day. Like I just hit 16 years in the business.
That's okay. Take us in the Wayback. Yeah, take the fans in the Wayback Machine. And you're a ring announcer. That does not happen very rarely. You take a bump. What the hell is going on?
I believe it was DC Dillinger. I'm not sure if anyone knows who he is. He passed away about 4 years ago, unfortunately. He had a bad temper. And when I announced that he had lost the match, and it happened again and again, he absolutely lost his shit and took it out on me. I believe he whacked me, if I remember correctly, wrapped me in duct tape and whacked me with a tote.
What?
I don't have the video footage, unfortunately, but if my memory serves, it's kind of basically what happened.
Holy crap, man. That sounds a little bit more than a bump, huh?
It's what it is. So, yeah, he wrapped me up, tied me up with duct tape, and took one of these big ass totes that we kept ring stuff in, and picked it up and just hit a home run and basically on my face with said tote.
So, pre-show, the men and women talk just to be safe, what they're going to do and kind of what to go over and stuff. You're all for this coming up, or was this something that was totally sprung on you?
No, it was discussed. Steve, this is back in Steve Bradley's promotion at the time, was the Wrestling Federation of America. So after he got, basically the backstory with that was he got his release from WWF, WWE in '02, I believe it was, because he had to have knee surgery and there was a purge of talent. Because he was hurt, he was on that chopping block. Moved back to New Hampshire, decided to open up a school, and then decided to open up a promotion with that. That was in 2003. I came in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Through his first ever fantasy camp, believe it or not, which was right here in my current hometown of Manchester, New Hampshire. At the time, I lived down in Mass. So my uncle had found a flyer and gave it to me that he found about the fantasy camp, and he visited me and my family down in Mass. He's like, "Hey," I found this, and I was like, "Holy crap!" Like, I looked at I was like, "Please," I was like, "Please." So I had to, get him to sign a waiver and all that stuff, and did fantasy camp for the weekend, and then less than a month later, signed another waiver to sign up at the school for practice.
That's cool, man. Because hey, excuse me, I don't have the Kincaid. I swear. They,
it's gonna be a thing now.
they they say, you want to be a manager, you want to be a referee. And, sometimes even the ring announcers, not all ring announcers just don't, just get in and look good and sound good. Some of them go through training. So, you really want to get that training. Could you talk how vital it is to get that training? Say if you're a referee, you get in that ring and now you have to go through this whole spiel, but you didn't tell them that you weren't trained. Tell us how vital it is to have that training no matter what.
Yeah, it's definitely a great idea. No matter what you do, and get training, not just to keep your wind up, because as a referee, you're hopping around in there, running around in there. You got to dive for those 3 counts sometimes. You got to get the hell out of dodge sometimes. Very important, just to learn all aspects of the business, I believe. I did almost anything you could think of. Back when I just trained, I worked security on the shows. I was part of the ring crew. First one at the building, one of the last ones to leave. Go back to the school, throw the ring back up in the school, set it up, get home at the crack of dawn. And when you're breaking in and you're learning, that's very important that you do that. And I still believe that to this day, 16 years later.
You're still helping with the chairs breaking down and stuff like that, post-match, pre or post-event, pre-event?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Especially in the very beginning, absolutely. You set up those chairs and set up the ring and make sure everything's good. I used to flyer for shows in towns. At the time, back then I lived in Haverhill, Mass. So when we started running Lawrence, that was basically handed to me by Steve. He's like, "Here, there's a bunch of flyers. I'll go find me a ticket venue." So I had to go around and try to sell his promotion to various small, medium businesses in the area, see if they'd like to sell our tickets. And after a million no's, I got a yes from a pizza place. And and then eventually we moved the ticket sales to the venue itself when they started to trust us more and have us back. And we had capacity crowds in that building. And And I even got to have my very first match in that building, which is also my hometown. I was actually born in Lawrence, so that was so cool. And I still have a poster from that show. It's up on my wall way over there. But yeah, the club had these 2 Budweiser posters made for the show at each of their entrances, and Steve took them because that was Steve. And there was so many people there, and he was just so happy and then so proud that I actually did fairly well in my first match. When we honestly, neither of us thought it was going to go that well. I'll be honest with you. He looked at he's like, I got one. He's like, there's one more. He's like, here you go. And it meant the world to me, and I'm going to keep that forever.
That's awesome. Your first match, hometown.
Yeah.
Now, you said you played a heel all through your matches. It's got to be weird because you know that your family and friends are there. Are they cheering you or are they booing you when you come out?
Trying to think who was there. Well, my dad was there, but he was pretty much working the concession stands. He got Tom Sword by Steve. But he really enjoyed it too. My dad probably has as many fond memories of WFA like I do, because he was part of the crew. Okay. First couple times, Steve, because we needed help one night, and he's like, "Hey, can you ask your dad to help out?" And I was just like, "All right, cool." And my dad was like, "All right, sure." And then, he kind of really became a fan again after that, and not just because of me, but it's just the way he watched the crew, and it was just like, "Holy shit!" It's like this is badass. He got to see behind the scenes and what goes into it, and even learn psychology. He also had to learn the language to hold a conversation with me after a while. Yeah, you throw out words like gimmick and kayfabe and all that shit, and he had to force himself to learn all that.
Yeah, you lose a person who doesn't understand it very well, like very easily. It's like they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Oh yeah. I so many of my friends and family were like, "What the hell are you? What?" And they finally get the context of it, so they can actually keep up with me after so many years. But yeah, it was really cool. I want to say my mom was there too. She tried tagging my hand, but I wouldn't acknowledge. I was just like, "Get away!" And chewing off little kids, like, "Get away from me! Don't touch me." I think there was actually one match I was a baby face, and it was in Lawrence several months later. And went to go tag this little kid's hand. He must have been like 7 or 8 years old, and he threw me and my tag team partner, the Bird. I was like, "You little shit."
Oh my God.
It's looking back, it was freaking hilarious. I mean,
yeah. Wrestling. Wrestling
number one.
Oh man, it takes so many different characters. It takes so many walks of life because we all come from different parts. It just takes so many people to make just one event happen. It's astonishing when you really stand back and watch it all kind of unfold. I have been like blown away by what you men and women do to just get it set up. Then you got to work. Then you got to break it down.
Yep, and not DX break it down. To actually break it down.
Like literally break it down. Now, since you break the ring down, and I know I probably should, when you break the ring down, people that say about wrestling, that fake shit or whatever. Could you describe, again, because you break the ring down, you set it up, could you describe to the fans, because God, I've seen it, and I would never want to be a part of it. Tell us the fans on how the structure is built without going into crazy detail, just kind of basically, from the frame and such.
2 words: steel and wood.
Eloquently put. That's all there is, with just little bit.
but it's 90% steel and wood with that 10% padding, and that padding is not that thick or cushiony. When I say padding, it's essentially just a stiff ass mat, and then the canvas, of course, over that. But yeah, that's it. Steel and wood is the big part of it.
After I've realized to see it be put together, and the very first time, it blew my effing mind, man. I'm like, wait, what? I always thought I had this vision of what was the ring. I wasn't even close.
Yeah, people like to say it's a trampoline or something like that. And well, I'll tell you what, go in there, go take a bump, and let me know if you think it's still a trampoline after.
Because the reason why I bring something like that up is, we see the NXT Performance Center have some amazing men and women, not just get through their thing, but get into on TV there, but then even move up to the Raw and the SmackDown platforms. Now, my point being is, we also see, if you follow when they announce, the class of this is who they're bringing in. I try to follow that kind of stuff. They bring in a shitload of NFL guys, and a lot of those guys don't make it. They think they can do it, but I don't see a lot of them make it. And that's kind of my point of bringing up the structure. It's not easy at all. So
NFL and wrestling are two different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're both in both of them. You got to be tough and you got to be a badass in some form or fashion. But some people just aren't cut out for pro wrestling. It's just how it is.
And you don't have to have this beautiful physique, to be in wrestling. You could, obviously look at Marco Stunt, little guy flying around on AEW, making everybody pop like hell, and then you've got, bigger guys. Look at Vlad and PAPW. He's a big dude. He is now the heavyweight champion, which is, heavyweight, it's well deserved. But that's what I mean about physique. You don't have to look beautiful. You don't have to have this granite stone physique to accomplish wrestling. You need, that effort, the sacrifice, the will, and there's a lot of things, so that's why I think it intrigues me, because there's so many different walks of life and so many different characters within wrestling,
Oh yeah, definitely no shortage of various characters and size and stature and things of that nature. You're gonna see it all in pro wrestling. It is a true variety show in that nature.
Mm-hmm. Now, you said you've been in the game for about a decade and a half or so, like 16 years, right? You said so?
Yeah, I just hit 16 back in March.
Wow. Congratulations. Happy birthday. I don't know how we address that one.
One of the craziest anniversaries one could have, trust me.
Yeah, an unforgettable one for sure. Now, being in the game for a bit, though, what I like to do is gauge the men and women that I talk to, because it gives us a sense of, how much of a fan are they? What are they watching? Are they being relative to what I watch? So I kind of throw it as, you've been in the game for a while. Now, do you sit down still watching the mainstream product, the WWE, the ROH, all of that, the Impact, New Japan, and such, AEW now, if I didn't say that? Or are you kind of focused on the indie scene? That's kind of your home. You're an announcer on the indie scene. What is your go-to for wrestling?
I try to keep it diverse. Definitely still keep up with WWE, NXT, AEW. Try to catch Ring of Honor and various other promotions online, mostly along with the indies. Most of the indies now take place so far away from me. So that's what social media is good for too. Just check out people's videos and all that stuff, YouTube, and yeah.
Now, you said you're from you're in Manchester, New Hampshire right now, correct?
Yep.
Now, I'm to understand there's really not a whole lot of wrestling up in the Hampshire area. If there is, could you maybe throw some our way that we can kind of look up? Because I've never really heard a whole lot coming out of Hampshire.
Yeah, New Hampshire right now it's tougher to run with the we have a wrestling boxing commission, and they've really stepped up their their rules, and two, it's extremely costly.
Oh,
Uh, Promoters licenses, wrestling licenses, referees licenses, managers licenses. It's all sorts of fees. You gotta hire police detail. There's all sorts of crazy details involved, and if you're not prepared for it, it's extremely overwhelming.
wow. I did not see any of that coming. Why is it such a differential from, I mean, I know like in Connecticut, you don't have to have a doctor or paramedic on site where you go to New York. That has to happen at every wrestling event. Why is it so much different though in New Hampshire? Is it like a tax revenue kind of thing? What are they trying to do?
It's probably a money grab thing by our government overlords, as I like to call them. But yeah, it's pretty much not maybe not quite as strict as New York, but fairly strict. I believe you do have to have some sort of either nurse or doctor on site. Um, Back in the day, it wasn't as bad, but it got worse as time went on.
Hmm.
Because the majority of like Steve Bradley shows back in the day, WFA was a lot in New Hampshire. We ran in Dover, New Hampshire, Littleton, New Hampshire, I think Newport, New Hampshire, Claremont, New Hampshire, Derry, New Hampshire, Hooksett, New Hampshire, Laconia, New Hampshire is, and we also did a lot of stuff in Mass too, and a little bit in Vermont, if I'm not mistaken. I think at one point we were like damn near the Canadian border.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a
So
place called
with
Newport, Vermont. It was way up there.
So with that one promotion, you kind of scattered all around New Hampshire and then other regions. Now, as you're doing your thing with this promotion or what have you, is there anything kind of happening at that time, or are you guys just kind of the lone soldiers rolling around New Hampshire with wrestling going on?
At first, it was, I believe, Chaotic had their thing going. They weren't nearly as big as they are now. Um, but Steve Bradley, when it came to independent wrestling, Steve Bradley changed the game,
Okay.
like without a doubt. No one ran shows like he did. We had a massive cult following in a lot of the towns. Um, and then, unfortunately, near the end, he succumbed to his issues and it wound up taking the business down with it. And then Chaotic came in after and totally filled that gap, and they completely, took a lot of the positive elements of Steve's game plan, and now they're the juggernaut of New England as far as I'm concerned.
Hmm.
There's
Yeah.
the connections to WWE as well. So
Yeah, you have chaotic, limitless, beyond. I mean, there's a bunch of them that are out there that are really if you see them on those shows, it's almost like Northeast Wrestling. They're right there from being on TV.
oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt about it.
Now you are a ring announcer. We kind of haven't touched really much upon that because I found that you being a wrestler, I did not see that coming.
Well, it's not like I honestly did that much as a wrestler. It's just it's a part of the chapter.
Yeah.
It's part of my life, but yeah, and then announcing race that came after that. But it's not like there's nothing to really learn from me when it comes to being a wrestler. As far as like other things in the business, yeah, I can probably guide a few in the right direction, but yeah. Anyway, wrestling, certainly wasn't a classic, that's for sure.
So you seem to be really comfortable behind the scenes, maybe giving guidance, doing your ring announcing or being a referee. Now, do you still switch back and forth? So say if there's a referee out, but you're ring announcing. Here's the thing. This is the kicker. You're ring announcing that night and they go, hey, we're short a referee and these guys don't want to do it. We need to fill in. Have you ever done double duty like that?
No, they never had me do double duty. It's one or the other. So.
Okay. Now, being a referee, how much different, because you're very involved in that match where the ring announcer, you get in, you call it, you get out, you look from afar, have some fun, because you've come up to me and Milton a couple times, and you've made me almost pee a little bit. You're a funny guy, but the differential has to be like crazy, almost different spectrums, I would imagine, no?
Yeah, well, you got to have your wind, that's for sure. Just like wrestling, honestly. Being a referee, you know, going around the ring, you got to, especially tag matches are probably the worst when it comes to that. Because you gotta focus on the two guys in the ring, and then you gotta make sure the two guys in the apron, they're doing what they should be doing. And but yeah, definitely you gotta have your wind about you for sure. Because if you can't get to that 3 count fast enough, and you could possibly screw up an entire match, and you don't want that.
Well, I've seen the accidental 3 count a few times, or I've seen the 2 count where it should have been a 3 count, a couple times. It happens. It's wrestling. It's live in front of you every single time you go. It's live TV. I mean, it's like right there. You can't. So
I'm sure I've made similar mistakes at some point. It's just part of being human too.
yeah, absolutely. Now, when you're as a referee, are you still active as a referee?
I haven't refereed in a long time, but I do have my shirt still. If I need to don the stripes, I can do it.
Wow. Now, hey, bookers, promoters, I know we've got this whole COVID thing going on. After this whole thing blows over, I mean, GK, he's a man of many hats. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, hey, if someone wants to come knocking on my door, and I can, whatever help you may need, I can do it.
So after being in the game for the time you have, do you still find yourself a wrestling fan? Because I know we're all fans. We start as fans, but sometimes over time, especially being in the business, it takes some of that away from you. Are you still a fan?
Oh yeah, there's still things that'll make me pop. Probably most recently, I could say Edge's return at the Royal Rumble. I was quite pleasantly surprised and probably almost fell off my couch. But that was somebody someone I literally watched from the very beginning when he was just Edge, the guy in the trench coat, and then watched him evolve to that tag team wrestler with Christian, and then break off into the singles thing, broke his neck, and then came back, and then a couple years later won the title, and became a multi-time champion. I mean, the guy was going to go down in the hall, one of the best wrestlers and Hall of Famers ever.
Yeah, and the story, because WWE doesn't always nail their stories, that story took everybody on a freakazoid ride, man. Now, and especially with the whole Randy Orton thing, when all of that went, oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's probably been one of my favorite angles they've had recently.
Now, I'm a story guy. I mean, I like the characters, I like the gimmicks, I like corny stuff. I mean, I like a little variety of everything, but I really dig when it's the story, and it could be in the ring. It could be told while in the ring and then interacting with us. That's always a fantastic when those guys and girls do that. Oh my God. I lose my shit, because now we get to be part of it just a little bit more, the indie vibe for me, I absolutely love. Some are to dream. They want to be at WrestleMania. Not wrestlers. I'm just saying as a fan. Some dream they want to be at a WrestleMania show because it's so huge, or they want to go to a Raw that never been, or whatever. Yep. For me, I just find the indie intimacy way better. For me, again, personally, I just find it just the vibe is amazing. I mean, look at the strengths. You walk into a room, there's a ring with like 30 chairs. It doesn't get any more intimate than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. You got your glitz and your glamour, the Hollywood style, like WWE or AEW. Then you got your indies, which are it's right there in your face, literally.
Mm-hmm.
You could reach out, literally just touch, and they're right there, pouring out their heart and soul 5-10 feet in front of you. I mean,
Now, have you had any? Oh, I'm sorry.
oh, I was going to say that's just something to see.
Now, have you had any weird interactions with the fans? Like, sometimes fans will say dumb shit at the workers or throw shit or, stupid stuff like that. Have you had any of that kind of stuff with Mr. GK Durant and the fans?
Oh, I've it's been a few. Probably, let's see. This is going back to WFA with Steve Bradley. One of the wrestlers was cutting a promo and then dropped the microphone on the ground. And I go to announce the winner, and the mic's dead. And I'm like, uh-oh. Go backstage, talk with the tech guys. I'm like, it's not working. Like, we don't have a backup mic. You're gonna. This is before we could all afford like getting wireless stuff like everyone can get now. It's a dime a dozen now. Back then, it was the cord, the whole cord thing, and we only had the one mic, and the damn thing broke. So I had to go out there after the match, and literally, like, people come down the aisle with their music and everything. Music was stopped, and I'd give them their introduction so the entire Elks Lodge could hear it. And I had 200 people chanting, "You broke the mic" to me when I did not. But, okay, I'm like, all right, get it out. Cool, all right. And power through the rest of the show. Actually, a couple fans actually came up to me after the show. Were like, you actually handled that really well. They're like, that was awesome. And I was like, oh, thanks. Like, you still suck, but thanks.
Oh my God. We do that stuff with the fans with the referees all the time, slow count ref. That was 3 and, all sorts of dumb stuff, we have so much fun. I think we all, between yourself, being in the business, the men and women, the fans, I think we kind of all miss it equally because, man, it feels like it's been like 6 months and it's only been a few weeks at best. And I'm like freaking out, sir.
It sucks. I had a couple gigs booked up here, about an hour away in Newburyport. Both got canceled because of this thing. It blows. It's a huge hit to wrestling. It's so weird watch WrestleMania in an empty performance center. Like, we're never gonna forget that. And
no, because that was the most.
And my hat's off to all those guys doing that.
Yeah.
Those guys, girls, they did a phenomenal job. They worked with what they had, and they killed it. But it's weird. So weird.
Probably the most unique wrestling experience I think us as fans will ever probably be a part of for a long time to come, because holy crap, that was odd.
Yeah, it's that first, I think it was like SmackDown or whatever was the first one they did. And I'm just sitting here going, what am I watching? And not to knock them, that wasn't what it was. It was just, what the hell? Like, they're really like just pantomiming like there's a crowd there, and it's just weird. It's so weird.
I think one of the oddest things, right when SmackDown kind of started, that very first show without any fans, you had Triple H, Michael Cole on commentary, right?
Yeah.
Bailey, and for the life of me, I can't remember who she was with, but they start coming out, and Bailey's cutting a promo all the way down the ramp and walks right up to the commentating booth and cuts the promo on Cole and Triple H. I'm like, what are we watching right now?
Yeah. And then I think it led into a tag match or whatever. And
it was just different, it's just different for all of us.
Absolutely. It's totally unprecedented. But I mean, the positives of it, though, it's providing, one, steady work for them, 2, entertainment for the fans, which is I think very important, especially at this point in time, because now like a bunch of my TV shows can't continue, and I'm trying to find new stuff to watch to keep entertained while I'm, at home, because you can't go out, you can't go to the bar, you can't go hang out with your friends at the park, or you can't do nothing right now. They're closing state beaches and things like that. And the weather's getting nice. Summer's my season, so I'm getting really antsy.
And let's be honest, because now you don't have golf, tennis, basketball, baseball, football. The XFL today just announcing that they laid everybody off, and it's pretty much looking like they're going to close the doors. I don't know, because they didn't say that, but it seems like it is, because if there's no 2021 season, you got to say that's the end of the XFL. So
yeah, which
got,
because it was fun. I was enjoying it.
Dude, people were digging it. Like, it wasn't like the last time. People were actually grasping on.
Last one was so cheesy and it was so wrestling oriented. It should have been its own thing back then. And I think they learned that lesson, which is why it was the way it was now. I like the various rules. Obviously, you know me too. I'm a Pats fan and watch the NFL. The XFL was different, but it was fun. It was just fun to watch.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of the only offering that we are getting right now is WWE content on a reg, though. Not just like, and I know that they splash in, a Royal Rumble match or an Elimination Chamber match. You have to give and you have to take. They can't just give you all of this cool content that you want. And I know that the vibe was different, but you can't expect everybody to be there to pull off a show. You know what I'm saying?
And the big picture with that is, I believe, in order so they can keep doing those tapings and not get shut down, they can't have so many people in the building all at once.
Right.
Because it's not just the wrestlers and the referees and commentators. You got your production crew, your camera crew, a lot of behind, agents, doctors. You can't have the usual, any given Raw or SmackDown is probably hundreds, at least 100 people between talent and production.
Easily.
Now they have to scale that down to, maybe a quarter of what they usually have.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we all know that there's a lot that goes into a WWE show. Right. So that's why they have to, and they got 2 hours and 3 hours to fill on each show. Then, they have to splash in those replays just to fill time. Mm-hmm. I don't blame them, and they're working with what they got.
Exactly, like I said, that give and take. The fans that get all blah 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 about it, I think it's kind of BS, because hey, I mean, like we were just discussing, man, it's a weird time. Freaking suck it up and accept for what they're giving us. They're giving us content, for crying out loud.
New original content, which he's giving. Like, I don't know about you, I'm a Walking Dead fan. Mm-hmm. The season finale is supposed to be this weekend. We're not getting the season finale until God knows when, because they can't finish it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, well, it wasn't that original content. So if there's not wrestling on, then you got to find something else. If you're missing out on your shows.
Yeah. And if any of the boys and girls that are watching are Walking Dead fans, spoiler alert, Shane comes back. Oh no, never mind, no.
Disregard people. It's the COVID talking.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely the King COVID. Yeah.
King COVID.
Yeah. GK is on my wavelength. He knows. Now, the big platform we've been talking, WWE, the AEWs and such. GK as an announcer, is that something you would like to get to, or is that something you're even striding to get to? I mean, or are you kind of comfortable doing the indie scene, what you're doing?
I would love to be on that big stage one day. No doubt about it. Been trying to keep my personal life, keep it in order best I can, which has been tough. I'm not going to lie. I'll put this out there. I've dealt with a lot of mental health issues as well, especially in the last few years. And I would also encourage anyone to get help like I did if you're going through the same thing. And finally getting things to start clicking. and but now, not much you can do to perform and keep proving yourself when there's no place to perform still.
Hey, great message. If you're having trouble, talk to somebody. It doesn't matter if it's a friend or even if it's an acquaintance that you know on Facebook that you know would even listen to you for a minute.
You can seek professional help. I'm still doing it to this day.
Yeah, man, you got to get it out there because we've lost some really good brothers and sisters just over that fact alone. Just last year, there's been many that both GK and I know.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. It affects everybody. Robin Williams, one of the most legendary actors and comedians on the planet, and took his own life from depression.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man.
Everyone's just like, "Oh, he's rich. Like, what did he have to be sad about?" It's like, unless you're in those shoes, you have no idea.
Mm-hmm. And, that's for sure.
Encourage anyone. Just if you're feeling down or whatever, reach out to someone you trust, or call a doctor, call a counselor. There's help for you.
Hey, we're glad to hear that you're doing better because it takes a strong person to just jump in and get that done because we don't want other people to hear our bullshit, and that's kind of what it comes down to.
Oh yeah. I know. Yeah, I've been through the struggle more than a handful of times, and first big one was probably about 5 years ago, and then again just last year. Now I'm familiar with the signs, so I knew what to do to get myself the help.
Yeah. Now, for me as a fan, I go to wrestling to kind of get away from the bullshit. Is it kind of therapeutic for you to head out to wrestling? Know you're going to a show to do your thing?
One of my favorite sayings is, "Home is where the ring is." Love it. I love being around the show. No better feeling.
Now, when we get done with all of this mess, do you have any? Because again, I've only seen you kind of specifically in one promotion more times than others. I mean, I did start seeing you. No, let me retract from the very beginning. The first time I ever met you was Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, you were working the big
memories off.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, you were working the big shows over there because they didn't have their smaller Friday night alley fights like they do now. You were working their big shows, and then I started seeing you at the NAW and stuff. My point being, once this is all blown over, if we can get back to kind of some normalcy, is GK looking for a direction as a ring announcer to really get out there? Is there any promotions you're looking at, or what's going on with you in the future as a ring announcer or behind the scenes or a referee?
I mean, people, I know a lot of different people. If anyone needs me, they think they know how to find me. I've got Facebook, Instagram, all that social media stuff. Mm-hmm. I do some gigs for Atlantic Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
I believe as long as things go according to plan, I should be back with them in June. So long as this stuff blows over.
Okay.
Actually go out and socialize again. It's weird being stuck at home all the time. My shoot job is also here at home now too. It's working remotely, and it's weird. It is very weird waking up, just putting on sweatpants and going to work when usually I'm dressed up, decent.
Oh God, I'm so glad you said sweatpants because I can't see from the waist down. Wow.
Oh no, you got to give a credit card for that.
Oh man, I hope hanging out with us, the fans, was a little bit enjoyable for you because I seen you laugh a bunch of times tonight. Did you have fun with us?
Of course I did.
Yeah, man, it was such a great time. We got to. Before I do let you go though, ring announcing, is that the main focus because you wear many hats? Is ring announcing your main focus that you're looking to do once we all kind of get back in the swing of things?
I'm willing to announce, willing to referee, whatever I'm needed for. Obviously, not wrestling anymore because I've had neck surgery too, so that's definitely out of the question.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, whoever needs me,
All right.
GK Durant,
Oh,
Facebook,
oh,
Instagram. What did you
oh,
do?
holy cow! I took you for a ride. I am so sorry.
Wow, I'm so dizzy. That was
You're
weird.
not the you're not the only one I've done that to. I've got such a low budget show over here. You have no clue.
Things happen. I'm just lucky because you're on my laptop. I got my phone over here charging, so it's kind of hard to dump a laptop unless I physically throw it.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to see the waist down. I'm just never mind, never mind, never mind.
I'll give you a credit card to not see that.
Yeah, please, if you could manage that. I got PayPal, Venmo. Yeah, I mean, bring it on.
Here, hold on.
GK Durant, you've been an app. Wait, what are you doing? What are you doing? Wait, boys and girls, are we getting a PayPal from GK for not showing? Ah! Oh my God, what a beautiful tail end to that. That was perfect, GK Durant.
You were too.
You were an absolute pleasure tonight. I really appreciate your time hanging out, talking to the fans, giving us, hey, I didn't know he was a wrestler. I didn't know he was a referee. I thought he was a guy, came in, looked good, beautiful beard, had a great voice. And now we find out all this stuff. That's what Stirring the Pot is all about. It's not for me. It's for all. It's for all. It's not just for me, man. Maybe I'm kind of using, if you notice, I'm using a phone and I did a little flippy, but it's for all of us. It's for Mr. Durant. It's for everybody, that we've talked to. We get to learn a little bit about each other. And I think it's been such an amazing time with you tonight. And I can't thank you enough for your time, sir.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's been a while. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But when was the last time I saw you? Was it geez.
I'm gonna say,
was it October-ish, maybe? September?
Yeah. Yes, it was. Carlito was going against Jay Vera when Jay Vera won the belt.
Oh, yeah, that was June, I think. Oh, my God. Yeah, that was back in June. Wait, didn't I see you at the Wishes on Wheels?
Oh, yeah. Wishes on Wheels. That was the first time I was ever at that event. Yep. That was fun, dude.
I knew I saw you after that.
Yeah, that was real fun. Rosie and JC came up from Florida. I was blown away.
Yeah, it's good to see them again. Got met so many people over the years. I can't tell you how long I've known them now. But it's yeah, man. You see all sorts of people at these shows, and from all walks of life, all over.
Mm-hmm.
So, could be local. They could be from across the country or even across the world.
You never know. Just to make one event happen, all of that.
Yep. So I had everyone from top to bottom, referees, announcers, everybody.
It takes a village or an army. I don't know how you want to put it. It probably takes a village of armies to really get that happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
GK Durant. I always want to say GT for some reason. I've been pretty good tonight. I've been very good. So it's GK. Don't listen to me. It's not GT. It's like a GT Mustang, kind of thing. I'm just trying to. But
I am far from a Mustang. I'm a broken down pickup truck at best.
Oh man, then I don't even know maybe I'm a Chevette or like a Yugo or something like that. Because I only weigh like 35 pounds, bro. I'm a smart car. No, I'm not that either. No.
I could probably tell you my SUV.
GK Durant, it's been a lot of laughs tonight. We've had a blast, man. It's been awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Always good to see you. Always good to be laughing with you.
Till next time, when all of this bullshit is over, I can't wait because they don't want us to shake hands. What the hell do we do when we see each other next time? Do we bump knees? Do we kick feet? Do we hit elbows? What are we doing?
Yeah, a little elbow, a little fist bump.
All right. I
If you
just
step
wanted
out
to.
of line, I just might kick you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Ref Bill, to getting that ball rolling. Oh. This has been Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very, very special guest, a very smiley tonight, one GK Durant. Thank you for spending the time with us.
You got it, man. My pleasure. And anytime you want to chat, right here.
Absolutely.